Hey, what's up everybody? This is your favorite homeboy, and today I have with me Will Austin, the CEO and president and broker and owner
all of the above
of Rent Simple. So glad to have you here.
Thanks, Ever.
Stay tuned for the rest of this video because Will's going to share with us his perspective on the real estate market from a property manager's point of view, and also give us, tips and tricks on what you could do as a property manager or what you could be looking for as an investor. So if you're interested in those topics, stay tuned for this episode of Coffee, Cocktails, and Conversations.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Will, it's good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers again.
Cheers again. I'm
on the base
done.
because it's COVID.
Oh, that's right. Social distancing.
Social distancing. I think we're like 4 feet. So that's better. Sorry, Joe, I messed up your time.
I'm glad I resisted you pushing that scotch on me this morning. I think it's like 11 o'clock, probably a little bit too early for that.
They'll be watching this at 4, so they won't know.
I think I just gave up the goose.
Well, yeah, we're on the front porch of my house.
Yeah, it's beautiful out here.
Man, it is beautiful. And I invited you because you're the next president.
Yeah, I am. President-elect.
Everyone thinks it's
President-elect.
Biden, but
Nope,
it's you.
It's me. Another spoiler alert, 2020 just has more surprises for everyone.
So you're the president of NARPM. Tell us what NARPM stands for.
NARPM stands for the National Association of Residential Property Managers.
Before we confuse anyone, it's the Northern Virginia chapter.
Northern Virginia chapter, not the whole nation.
Not the whole nation.
I wouldn't.
Sorry,
want that.
we'll get that guy next.
Yeah, and pretty much just a place where property managers can go, trade war stories.
Yeah, it's fun.
Hang out, grow together.
It's cool because, I mean, there's some people who really see, or like they kind of closely hold their secrets, if there are secrets.
Yeah, like me.
But then other guys, like, I mean, if you're not like that, you can really build some cool friendships and really share knowledge.
There was a huge, I think going to NARPM when I was like a fresh-faced 28-year-old that just started, and I was super territorial. It was just such a revelation that people were like, why are you telling me how you do this? So you don't post to Craigslist? And it was crazy. And I think, but I mean, as you get older in business, you just learn that's like the way you have to be.
I think I'm learning that, even if you knew everything I did.
So you didn't know that already? I just told you. So that's a nugget.
I mean, if you knew everything I did, you're not even going to do it. So some of it you're going to think like, oh, that's stupid. Or some of it you're like, it won't work for me.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if you knew everything, it's not like, oh, now you're going to steal all my business.
Yeah.
And the hard thing is, there's the ethical thing of, we don't even steal each other's business, it's going after the new business. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Right? Going after the new business. And I can tell you what I do. Hey, it's going after real estate relationships. Go at it. Have at it,
Not what I do.
Yeah.
It's like completely the opposite of what
I do.
I do.
But even if it was a secret to you, it's like, have at it. It's not like you could just snap your fingers and have all the relationships in the world. That's really hard.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to click with everybody you click with, and vice versa. So.
That's another very valuable lesson. The business takes a long time to develop.
Yeah.
It's a game. It's a war of attrition, and it's a game of patience. And I think just doing the right thing consistently over time, and there's no get rich quick scheme, and there's no like skyrocket your business in 2 years.
Yeah.
What's that one quote? Most people underestimate how much they can do in 10 years and overestimate how much they can do in 1 year.
I just heard that this weekend.
Oh, did you really?
And I've never heard of it before until this weekend. I was watching this other video.
Oh, on my channel?
I'd like to say it's your channel.
Just kidding.
We'll post your channel here. Do you have it up yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I was actually just working.
It's coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up.
But it was on a stock investing channel.
Oh, wow.
And no, it was a YouTube channel. Sorry, like how to grow your subscribers. I was watching something about YouTube, right?
Yeah.
It's a same thing. Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, underestimate what they can do in 10.
Yep.
That's really encouraging to me because I was like, wow, I'm almost at the 1 year mark. Maybe I did overestimate it, thinking I'd do better than I am, or more subscribers or whatever.
And if this year has taught us anything, it's taught us many things, but like a year can go by quickly, especially when you're praying for it to go by very quickly.
Yeah.
Like just keeping your head down. And
I love that quote. That's my new favorite quote.
Yeah.
So for you, you're doing something new with your company.
Yeah.
Tell us how that all started.
So
background there.
Well, I mean, always through NARPM. I think that's where like a great, every industry you need, or like whatever hobby you're in, you need like a base to go to, whether it's reading books or just like a group of people, a community. You get ideas, and like if you don't have ideas, like you're not going to grow. You're just going to stay who you are. So I forget where we heard about it, but just like I think it shocked me that people were using, like really adopting virtual assistants or remote team members. And I heard that, and I was like, I didn't want to believe it.
Yeah.
But then I started digging into it more and asking around, and I was like, oh, most people do have this. I'm just being old and stuck in my ways and not trusting.
Yeah.
So they kind of like opened my mind up to that, and then got back on, just kind of reignited my passion for learning and trying to grow my business again, getting back in the Facebook groups, seeing what other property managers are doing nationwide.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. You used to have like, most people at home know this, but like the Google listservs and the
That's
email
kind of like the old
chains.
school way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Do they still
remember-
have that?
They do.
Huh.
So I logged back into that, and there was probably like 10 old heads still
Is that
on
like
there.
a Facebook group?
It was
Kind of like a chat, right? Where,
pre-Facebook,
Okay.
back in like the MySpace days.
okay.
But there's still some people on that, and I noticed that most people left and went to.
People in their 80s or something?
Well, no,
just kidding.
people like still,
Like our age.
Yeah, just slow
Yeah.
to change like me, or had been asleep at the wheel for like 5 years. But I noticed that a lot of people had gone to the Facebook group, and I remembered people on that old listserv that were now on the Facebook group.
Okay.
And they were now, they were, excuse my language, but they were kicking my ass as far as like growth and like being able to provide a better product.
These are other property managers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in particular, like a couple guys out in like San Diego, they had started around the same time I did, and they were now at like 1,000 properties.
Gosh. Wow.
And I'm still, I think I'm like you, I'm like still like, I'm comfortable where I am, but like not, like, I'm not, in order to be valuable, you got to add value to the marketplace. And I think if you grow, that's a symbol that you're valuable to people. And I was just stuck being stagnant. Sorry, that was like a 30-minute
So you want to add
answer
more
it.
value, and what you're saying is part of knowing that you're adding more value is that you actually have clients, right?
Yeah, it's
if you had one person, it's like, I'm not really adding
Yeah.
value because only one person thinks I'm adding value. I see what you're saying.
It's like a bunch
Yeah.
of votes for you as
Yeah.
a company and how you do stuff.
So tell us about kind of like how you started the company. When did you start your company?
So back in 2009, I was in another world before that. Like I think you were in the Army, right? I was in.
I was still in real estate, but it was in Texas, and it was doing buying and selling around that time.
Yeah, I was doing commercial construction. So right out of college, doing that for like 6 years. I did it here locally. Then I was out in San Diego for a while. Then came back to Richmond, and then 2009 hit. And it was just kind of like every man for himself. It wasn't a great quality of life. So fortunately, my father had started a real estate business, and he was like, "Why don't you open up another branch?"
Yeah.
Because they're from Warrenton.
Yeah.
And why don't you open up another branch in Prince William County? So I took him up on that, and just kind of like, by the grace of God, it was the recession, bad for a lot of people, not for property managers at the time.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Because no one could sell their house.
That was when I started.
Yeah. And I don't think if that had happened, because I was, sorry for all my clients who've been with me since then, but I was pretty much clueless on how to do it. I learned a lot of lessons the hard way. And just from there, just slowly but surely adding doors and adding clients.
Yeah.
But that was 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So since then, this year, I think your original question, we just kind of rebranded, which is like a focus on like how internationally and nationally property management is changing to just kind of like embrace more of, like I said, virtual assistants is very foundational, but not necessarily automation, but tech. I think tech is just huge in property management, and a lot of us are so scared of it, but it's such a good thing.
What's been like some really cool tech that's helped you with property management, like that you can talk about, like something that's game changer, right?
I think people that are hesitant to do it now, and you'll see this with, because you have a VRBO, you're doing, there's a lot of trust involved with like giving out a code. And you can stay at my house for a week or a weekend or whatever. But I think the world has changed.
Yeah.
So I remember hearing about Uber for the first time and like kind of freaking out. I was like,
I'm driving a stranger?
I know. Or the stranger's driving me and like all that stuff. But I think the world has evolved to now trust each other a little bit more. So long answer to your question, self-showings I think are, if you're not doing them now, you will be
It will be. It's already moved there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And coronavirus just completely accelerated
it big time.
Because no one wants to meet me out there and shake my hand and have me tell them what a bedroom is.
Right.
They want to view it when they want to view it.
Leave me alone, man. Just let me see the house.
And now that like everybody's schedule is all over the place.
Yeah.
Like they want to go, they got a free hour where they don't have conference calls. They want to go check out a property.
What would you tell an owner that says, man, I don't want someone just walking in my house? Like, that's your job. What would you tell them?
Well, for us, I would say we're going to charge you a lot more, and that means less money in your pocket.
Right.
So it's just smart to adapt and embrace that technology. Yeah. And we've been doing it for a year. We haven't had any instances of vandalism.
Yeah.
They're out there.
Yeah. There's ways to reduce your risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, most people assume they're being kind of monitored or videotaped. And I think the technology we use, and it's very common property managers, you've got to submit your ID, you've got to check in when you get there. You'd kind of be a bonehead if you we're just going there for bad reasons.
Yeah.
And we're able to screen these people before they go in.
Right.
So you know who's getting in your house, who's not.
Right.
And they check out with you. They get a little survey after they leave. So
yeah. And there's only certain conditions you do that in. I mean, if it's occupied, obviously you wouldn't do that. Or if there's a furnished home with maybe expensive stuff, you may want to be a little bit more careful in some ways.
You've got to change your business model a little bit to suit that. But I think foundationally, that's something we've just been okay, that's what we're going to hang our hat on is self-showings and trust in tech.
Yeah, it's funny because in the vacation rental industry, you do so many. It's kind of a little bit more progressive, right? It's done a lot of things. It's had to because it's that sharing economy, and so I've tried to bring in some ideas from that industry because it's already proven and it's worked. And there's always risks. It's just a matter of how do you reduce that risk.
Yeah,
right?
There's a lot of cross-pollination. Between industries, apartment buildings. The vacation rentals, and I think the redhead stepchild has always been single-family rentals. Yeah, because it's always been the crotchety realtor.
Yeah, that's like the old school industry.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic of vacation rentals, since some of the audience on my channel, actually, it's one of the hot topics on my channel: is vacation rentals, short-term rentals, Airbnb. Talk a little bit about that, just from your experience. What do you think about vacation rentals? Is that something you've ever thought about going into?
I would love to. I'm scared of that. I kind of maybe have a little bit more empathy for my owners because it seems like such high turnover. And when you're on vacation, you care a little bit less, so there's more damage. Yeah,
you do have a little bit more of that. Yeah.
I wonder how you mitigate that, but you're the expert I would defer to on that.
So you would want to get into it from a management or from an investment perspective?
I think if there was a way to find out how management could be a healthy business doing that.
That's what I'm trying to figure out now.
Yeah,
it's hard.
Yeah, because you've got to have a staff you trust. You got to rely on your cleaners or your handyman to point out damage. Right,
because they can mess up your reviews. Much more so than in our game where we have more control. Yeah, but a bad cleaner can mess up your reviews. It's what can you do about it? Once it's reviewed, it's reviewed. And you have no control. It's just the darn cleaner.
The margins aren't great, too. I mean, most vacation rentals, like beach rentals that have, an agency there, they're 25%.
Oh, it's high.
Yeah.
So what about personally for yourself? Would you ever invest in one?
I would, yeah.
Where would you, have you looked at any areas?
The Poconos.
Poconos, really?
Yeah,
oh,
no.
Cool. I got a good agent I can refer you to.
No, I would say, anywhere locally, sure everybody knows that, everyone's doing hyper-local vacations. Would
it be local because you believe in this area because of that reason, or because you'd want to maybe use it for yourself sometime?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay. I think if the only, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons I would go into vacation rentals is to enjoy it off-season.
The personal benefit.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's not being used, I can use it.
Yeah. Or at least you have it in the back of your mind. It's if I really want to just blow off some steam, I could always go there.
But I don't really agree with, everyone has their different goals, but some people say, I want to buy a vacation rental. I don't care how it does just because I want to live in it. Or no, what was I heard the other day? It's I want to buy it in this area because I go here a lot. I don't care if it doesn't perform well. And my argument to that was, why don't you buy it in a well-performing area that it's going to offset the fact that you can go vacation anywhere you want. Yeah. And not have to stay in your same old house. Yeah. Because you can have that too. Why not just pick the best area, irregardless of where you like to vacation, and let that perform and kick butt? And then it's doing so much better than the other scenario where you have this stodgy investment, barely eking out returns just so you can stay there personally.
Yeah.
I think there's different goals. Some people really like to go back to a certain area time after time and have a place to call their own. And hey, it's a different strokes for different folks, right?
Yeah. Have you found the Poconos to be very profitable?
For me, that was my strategy. Is I want to pick the best place. And in my opinion, the Poconos is the best place. Prove me wrong. If you think there's a better place, in the comments below, prove me wrong. There's a lot of people who invest all over, and I've tried to do the research, which is not easy.
Yeah.
Because trying to get the returns and have people divulge that, what are your returns, what are your actual expenses. If you know, put it in the comments below, and I'd love to investigate it. I'm open to other areas.
Well, you're fully booked, right?
Pretty much,
Yeah.
I do have a few bookings in December, so if you're interested in the Poconos.
And you're running a special right now, 25% off. Anyone who books today.
Just say Will Austin is my hero, and we'll
just
give
the
you
coupon code.
coupon code. Let's switch gears a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you, besides vacation rentals, what else do you like to invest in? For you personally, what would you like investing in?
For me, I think it's so important to build up a base of real estate that allows you to invest in other more aggressive items. Like for me personally, I'm not at the point in my life where I have 2 rental properties, and I was able to refinance those a couple times, take that cash out tax free,
like the Burr method.
Yeah, and just put it. Just recently, today, I'm actually getting the first bit of good news from this. Airline stocks
Are finally going up.
They went up like 20% today
No
because
way.
of the vaccine news. Did you hear that Pfizer?
I didn't hear about it, but I've got Pfizer.
Yeah.
I diversified into these health companies, thinking that these are going to be the top ones.
Yeah.
My son said, I'm trying to teach my son to invest. That's a future video.
Yeah.
And so we use M1 Finance, and it's pretty cool where you could just pick a bunch of stocks. And my son was like, hey, Dad, when we invest, are we looking, how much long-term are we looking? 10, 20 years? I said, yeah, 10, 20 or more. And he said, why don't we invest in airline stocks? Because right now they're beat up.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, son, I guess you could do that. But I was like, and then I don't want him to know that they went up 20% because I wasn't like, go for it.
Oh, yeah.
But we would have invested maybe like $100. It wouldn't have been a lot.
It was so easy to, like, right after the pandemic hit, like, identify what stocks were going to get, like Home Depot, Lowe's.
Yeah.
But the problem was everybody got hit. If you had your money sitting on the sidelines, good for you, but most people had it somewhere else. But
do you have any particular stocks that you really like right now?
Well, this was a while.
Keeping an eye on.
Twilio was like big for me. Like they're like a cloud software company.
Okay.
They went from like 30 to like 300.
Wow.
In like 2 years. But all those tech stocks, I want to say they're completely frothy, but they continue to go up.
Yeah.
I think as you get older, diversification is always good.
Yeah. I don't have one in particular.
Yeah.
I wish I could say, yeah, I've always been a Tesla guy for the past 10 years.
We'd
be talking from a different house right now.
I invested way too late in Tesla.
Yeah.
I was just like tired of seeing it go up.
It may not be too late.
Yeah, well, I did it like a month ago, but it's like just flat.
Yeah, that's cool. I've got my eye on it. I think it's in my son's portfolio, so I think we got like $1 in shares.
So the biggest thing with stock markets, not to digress too much on this, but you're getting so many more traders coming in, like your son and Acorn and all Robinhood apps.
Yeah.
So I think
so much more interest through those Robinhood apps and all that, right?
I think the Warren Buffett strategy of value stocks, while there's a place for it, you're going to have to like shift a lot of your focus to momentum stocks because it's behavioral economics. Like people they're investing off of emotion, which they're going to continue to do. So it's not necessarily an illogical play. You've got to know when to like jump in and set in your stops at a certain level.
Good entry point,
Yeah.
And just long term. If you're long term, you're protected against a lot of stupid mistakes.
Well, I don't know. I think long term you got to have. I don't know if you use this, but a stop, like a trailing stop.
Sometimes I'm not as sophisticated as that. Where you're like, if it goes below a certain amount, and then it just sells automatically.
Like Twilio, exactly. Like Twilio, I don't know if it's going to be around in 5 years, but I'm going to like put it like a pretty comfortable stop in place.
See, that's probably a different strategy for me. I'm more long term, like trying to invest in companies that are just going to be around.
Yeah,
hopefully.
That's probably a smarter strategy.
20 years, because I can't follow it like that. So, President.
Yeah.
What do you think about the presidents? under Joe Biden, and
Oh, we're going there.
if they fight Trump, if Trump fights it and there's some legitimacy there, or under Trump presidency, because nothing's official yet. Okay, that's my opinion.
Let me just first address the people at home. I'm going to be a NARPM president that works for everybody. Okay,
regardless of affiliation.
everybody in Northern Virginia.
I feel better. You'll stop.
No matter who you voted for.
So
Who's going to be good for Northern Virginia?
who do you think would be better for Northern Virginia, or just real estate in general?
I always think a change in presidency is good.
Yeah.
I was telling my wife this recently. I'm kind of the guy who's going to start to vote for a change every 4 years. Because think about it.
Wow, no matter who it is, they're just going to vote
just
for
like,
change.
all right, out.
That's
And
interesting.
with the way our world is moving too. But what good has ever come from a second term? Even when you look at Reagan, like, I'm not sure he did much in a
I
second term.
wonder if, like, in the second term, you have this idea, like, I'll take a little bit more risk.
Yeah,
Because and maybe that, but as you know, in the business world, sometimes that risk pays off, right? You make better change. I don't know what's proven or what the research shows, but
usually you've got 2 years where you've got Congress. Like Trump had 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do everything I would like him to do. Obama had 2 years, and like I don't think that Trump was going to get, besides just probably get mad for another 4 years. I don't think he could have done much. So I think it's good. Especially
so
now.
you're here for change.
Oh, I'm here for change. Yeah.
Did you vote for Obama?
That was hope. That wasn't change.
That wasn't hope.
Oh man.
Where did I hear the word change from? Here's some change.
I think that was his second term was
Okay.
change. Yeah. He wanted to change from himself, from the hope strategy.
That's funny.
But I think everybody this year, I don't think it mattered who ran, but this year was just something we needed to flip. I probably, I don't want to get into too much of politics, but
so you think that'll be good for Northern Virginia if everything works out with Biden?
Original point. I think getting new bodies in Northern Virginia, people for real estate market, with a new administration, new people come in, new people leave.
Cool.
Especially with Democrats, more money comes in. Whether that's good
anytime
long
people
term or not.
are moving, that's changing in real estate.
Yeah.
You can look at it from that perspective.
And Northern Virginia never takes a hit, no matter what policies happen.
It's buoyed by the government. Yeah. Right.
And even more so.
Yeah.
That's changed even in the last 10 years.
What are some last thoughts you got?
I don't think we've really touched on property management. I think from our perspective,
our main topic. So
I think it's really changed a lot, and I think the canary in the coal mine is definitely Zillow and a lot of venture capital money. That's like what everybody's talking about. Like, there's been some VC firms that have just
talk to us about what Zillow's recently done.
So they have pretty much said, we're not going to post your listings unless you pay us directly.
Yeah, and they started that in other markets. It's just kind of making its way around the nation.
They've been testing it out.
They're trying to monetize it from the agents. We're paying for our feed, for the MLS, and now we have to pay twice to show up in Zillow.
Which I think, I was arguing with someone on Facebook. I know that's like a very pointless exercise to do. But they were like, this Zillow monster is coming. Don't give them any money or they'll just grow bigger. And I'm like, don't resist this. Embrace it. Like, you're not going to win on your own. You're just going to shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
It shows that there's opportunity in rentals. Like, whereas before, even like when I started, it was
if Zillow's catching on, they're like, hey, there's opportunity.
There's billions of dollars in this industry. And it's also saying not everything's free. Like, for our self-managing landlords, I believe that's the absolute worst thing you can do for your rental property.
Yeah.
You've got to, now they have to pay to post their listings. Before, I mean, maybe they go to Craigslist.
It makes it more expensive for them to do it.
Yeah.
It narrows the gap between them doing it and us doing it.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think the technology is out there for everybody to do it. But you need to have someone that knows what technology to use, what's a waste of money, what's bad for the client, what's bad for the end user experience, and then be able to sift through those and choose them. And I think that's where our role has changed as property managers, from that guy with a clipboard going out to the property to like an implementer of like the right tools.
Yeah, right.
And from there, you can earn a lot more money for your client and also like lower your cost of doing business a little bit. Because it was really high for us for a while. It was all like, there was a lot of me driving around. I still drive around a ton, but you couldn't do anything unless you're out at the property. Now you're able to do 80% of what we need to do, like just from your computer.
I like what you said about that. Having not just managing it is not difficult. Is knowing which tools to use, right?
Yeah.
And being able to apply that in the most efficient way for the investment.
Yeah.
And doing it, not just doing it, but doing it in a way that's risk reducing for them.
Yeah.
Because a self-managing landlord could do all that, but they don't know what's creating more risk for them in their processes.
Through doing that, like just through the tools we've implemented, like the self-showings, I know me not having to drive out there, I'm able to like respond to emails quicker, talk to people. They just want a voice. They don't necessarily need me shaking their hand.
Yeah.
So that's like, it allows you to step up your customer experience and also like lower your cost and like time spent. And I'm a lot fresher too, because I didn't truthfully enjoy driving out to properties and meeting every prospective tenant.
Yeah, that gets tiring.
Yeah. And usually I would end up putting my foot in my mouth and saying something I shouldn't while I was out there, like, oh yeah, sure, we'll allow your Rottweiler or whatever. Just apply.
Just apply. We'll get you in.
What have you seen though? Like,
well,
how's COVID impacted you this year?
We've always been a work from home business, so I know it's accelerated all the other property management companies to get to where we are, to being remote. So it hasn't affected us from that perspective. It is forcing us to be more efficient with our walkthroughs because we have to integrate, kind of like we talk about self showings. We used to do self walkthroughs with the tenants, now doing it instead of our walkthrough tech doing it, because we want to respect interaction limitation on that. And so now we've been exploring software. I think you've heard me talk about Zinspector. You do Get Rent Check, right?
No, we did Get Rent. Now we're doing Zinspector.
Okay. So we're in the middle of evaluating these two, again, using the right tool to reduce the risk for a walkthrough, move-ins, move-outs, renewals, and all that stuff. So that's going to be a great benefit, I think.
Oh, that's another thing we've done this year too. So giving the tenants the opportunity to do that themselves is such a benefit for them. Imagine, like from their perspective, us showing up once a year or twice a year. It's just like, it feels like your resident advisor or like your principal is coming by to check out how you live. It's just very invasive. Yeah. And now like you can enforce like better quality. It's like, hey, here's a privilege for you. Take a bunch of pictures for us. Like, make sure you document this room, this room, this room. Like, 'cause a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Right. So if you're watching this and you're a landlord, if we're providing value to you, please click the like button. But one of the things we're talking about is doing walkthroughs. There's a balance between having eyes on, ears on what's going on in your property, and at the same time giving them the freedom to live there and respecting their privacy.
The responsibility too,
and software like what Will and I are talking about helps you to accomplish that. It gives you the finger on the pulse on what's going on, but at the same time you're not like, knock knock, here I am, right? So keep that in mind. And as property managers, we help to achieve the right balance, because as a owner mentality, you always want to be like, I'm just visiting, but it's not just I'm just visiting, you're creating tension.
Oh yeah. I remember one time very early on, I had a prospective owner say that he wanted to go there every quarter and do inspections.
That's a lot.
And I was like,
that's a lot.
I don't think we're a good fit. And he was like very angry with me at why I didn't think that was a good idea.
Yeah. If I did a house tour every quarter for 300 some properties, I don't have that manpower.
Yeah. Not to mention the time, but just like you might as well just like kiss that tenant goodbye, because it's like probably feels like they live in military barracks or something.
Yeah. Oh man. White gloves going in there.
So I guess that's a great analogy. The property manager has shifted from the drill sergeant to like the Elon Musk type, like the technology facilitator.
Yeah.
And like kind of like we've shifted from like just being like, hey tenant, just shut up and pay your rent, to like, hey, how's your experience? Like, we want to know how you're doing. Like, I don't know. Do you have a residence benefits package you're using now?
We're rolling that out.
Oh, cool.
In the next couple months.
Yeah. I think that was a big shout out to Second Nature, but that was a big like.
Yeah, they led that.
Yeah. That clicked for me. 2 years ago, I thought that was such a waste of money, and just so like, who's going to use that? But it sets the tone. It's like, hey, we're caring for you. Here's the filter at your door, like with your like custom branding on it. Yeah. Like, we care about you. And then you add on more stuff to that.
That's value that a self-managing landlord managing 1 or 2 homes can't do. We can package benefits and have strategic partnerships and say, hey, tenant, pick one. Yeah. Right? And it reduces our risk because it includes insurance. It includes It includes whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right?
We just did credit reporting too, which our tenants asked us for.
Are you making it mandatory, or are you giving like a code to say, hey, if you want to do it, here's like
no,
a savings?
it's part of our benefits package. But
cool.
people love it, and our delinquency rate is 0 this month.
Yeah,
because
now they're top of mind. They know about it.
It's carrot and a stick, but for most people, it's a carrot.
Hey man, it's been awesome having you.
Yeah,
today.
Appreciate it.
And I'll be able to sanitize that.
Sorry, old habits die hard.
So hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and comment below if you have any other questions, and if you have any other topics you want Will and I to cover on a follow-up video, and we can do that. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This is your favorite homeboy signing out.